And what's your idea about the US-ASEAN relationship? But during the era of Joe Biden, obviously he forced ASEAN to pick sides. And with Donald Trump in power, has he produced any what type of strategy, policies vis-a-vis this region, Southeast Asia, ASEAN? Maybe not yet.
I think they don't know much about ASEAN. You will take time. I mean, I remember the congressional hearing for the Secretary of Defense, Hegseth.
Oh, that's true.
He couldn't identify any country in ASEAN.
That's true.
Trump didn't even know that China is part of BRICS. So they have strong emotions, a strong view, but they still lack knowledge. But give them a few more months. ASEAN has a very clear position. China will become more and more important to us. China is a historic opportunity. Bilateral trade is about $1 trillion.
That's true.
Chinese investments are everywhere. Connectivity is improving. Even the Vietnamese, the Thais are linking up by train. So all this is good. But the deep instinct in Southeast Asia is the closer you are to China, the more you must diversify. Because otherwise China will have too much power over you. So whether you're Vietnam or Indonesia or Philippines, all of them do not want to be subservient to China, but they want to be close to China. So I tell my American friends, if you force us to choose, you will not like the answer. But if you don't force us to choose, every door, every window will be open to you. And you don't have to pay a cent. So I think America will gradually move into that position.
And I have a view, perhaps slightly Chinese bias. I was in Geneva. I gave a talk there. I tried to compare the China's role in Asia vis-a-vis ASEAN and the US role in Europe vis-a-vis EU and NATO. I said China as a big power, China respects ASEAN neutrality, centrality, nuclear-free zone, and we put everything, most important priority to economic development, win-win economic cooperation. So the largest trade zone, RCEP, and more. But United States, vis-a-vis Europe, it's NATO's philosophy, keep America in, keep Russia out, keep Germany down. And then European leaders, you fail to realize what's your own fundamental interest. And you follow the Joe Biden and his policies, and then you lost peace, lost development, lost prosperity. I don't know whether you share my take or not.
So this is Europe. This is the history of Europe, where there are always powers in contention. And no one, ever since the end of Rome, has been able to dominate all of Europe.
That's true.
So if you are a European scholar and a student of European history, or European looking at your own history, then the Peloponnesian War and the Thucydides trap is the prism through which you analyze today's Europe. America influenced the war, still has GIs in many places, military bases, but now says Europe has to look after itself. And if there's a peace, some kind of a peace agreement in Ukraine, the peacekeeping forces will be European. Americans will not be involved. So this is a shock to the North Atlantic Alliance. You cannot use the Thucydides prism to look at Asia, because in Asia, every time China recovered, it dominated. And it dominated not by military force, even though it always had strong military forces, but by exploiting the size of its economy to influence behavior. So if you are my friend, I'll benefit you. If you are not my friend, you benefit less. And this influences behavior.
I call this, the US philosophy is a friend or foe. Chinese philosophy as a civilizational state is a friend or potential friend. We have a much longer vision, so we have patience. And finally, a question concerning a fascinating topic. It's about multilateralism and multipolarity.
Yes.
And basically, even you look at the Munich Security Conference, this time the scene is multipolarity. That's something rare for Europeans to admit. That's important. So I came to a thesis, I don't know whether you share or not, that is, if multilateralism as it is today can reflect the multipolar world, the reality, then it's what we call genuine multilateralism. If it's not, it's as Joe Biden talked about, rule-based. That's very narrow scope of multilateralism. So it's we call it fake or semi-fake multilateralism. I remember Angela Merkel when she was still chancellor. She was in Davos 5-6 years ago. I was there, and she said, we have to make a reform of international system, institutions. Otherwise, China does not wait for us. So China go ahead with the BRI, with the New Development Bank, etc. So he said we have to reform. Otherwise, the rest of the world do not wait for us. So I think this we prefer, we support, we endorse multilateralism, but they should reflect changing times and changing reality. This multipolar world is already there. What do you think of this?
It's difficult because the Western countries have dominated the world for so long. They think that their own ideas are superior. They recognize that the democracies have problems, but still they think they're superior. When they were strong and self-confident, they promoted liberalism, which should respect a diversity of views, but all within a Western framework. Now, those liberal ideas within Western society have come into crisis because of immigration. For instance, I don't think they can ever absorb, fully assimilate Muslim populations. So they're in a bit of a crisis. In a curious way, who are the liberals now? In the best sense of liberalism, it is China and India. Because China and India say, my relationship is not based upon you becoming like me. Jai Shankar, the Indonesian External Affairs Minister, said recently at the Munich conference, he said, if our ambassadors in the West behaved the way your ambassadors in India behave, you will find it unacceptable. But they come here, they don't know the place, they're immediately judging us. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. And I give you a mark, 3 upon 10, Singapore, 2 upon 10. They give you a mark. You look at the top journals, New York Times, Economist, Financial Times. They're experts.
That's true.
And they are very quick to give recommendation to governments.
That's true.
They don't live there. Their knowledge is shallow, but they are full of wisdom and advice.
That's true.
Indians and Chinese don't do this. We say, look, it's interesting, you have your characteristics, we try to understand, and which was why. And this is very important. 70 years ago, between India and China, they had the 5 principles. India had Panchil, but unfortunately, because of bad India-China relations, there was a commemoration in China, but not in India. But that declaration created Bandung. And we're celebrating 70th anniversary of Bandung this year. And I hope Indonesia will promote it and bring China and India together. Because that is the true liberalism for a multipolar world.
That's a very, very good point. I think this is a very wise and a sensible assessment. And finally, your remark reminds me of a study one of our researchers did. He studied these editorials published by economists on each and every Chinese Communist Party's National Congress. Every 5 years there is a Congress and it will issue editorial. And he the conclusion is very comical. And he said, basically, you should understand in the reverse way. If the editor said, this is bad, this is ugly, this is too much problem for China to come, in the end, it's all positive. So one way, I remember once I met with US Secretary General Guterres, and he asked me to recommend English material for him to read. I said, for once, you can read economists' political comment on China, but understand in the reverse way. More or less correct.